Hello and welcome to my Pillars of Eternity Definitive Edition playthrough. Today we have part number 24, and in the last episode we arrived for the first time in the White March expansion of the game. We arrived at the village of Stalwart, where we had some small fight with local ogre tribe, and we helped the village to get rid of them. We have talked a little bit with the local villagers and took up some quests, and today we will hopefully solve some of them. So let's continue. So this is our party. We are still at level 8, and we have in the party Aloth, Eder, Durance, Palagina, and Zahua. And before moving forwards, I think I will exchange Palagina for Sagani, which should be more appropriate for the northern regions. We'll see about that. Anyway, let's move around.
Certain Berith's wheel of fire.
Light, flame, and sound. We'll keep to ourselves.
Hardly anyone coming up the roads these days. We're the first new face in weeks. I hear Defiance Bay got hit pretty hard by the Legacy. Wonder if it's as bad as we've got.
Be cautious. Be constant.
Excuse me, was there something you need?
She knits her fingers together and looks intently at the floor. Farewell.
Eyes open.
No offense, but I already paid Halfrick for this room.
Not a sound.
Careful, if you're new, the drinks in here aren't watered down. Buy us some wine, mister?
Owena! Go check on that Orland. Make sure he don't steal nothing.
Let's talk with the innkeeper.
Never seen such a bloodbath. Feels like we got half the town's survivors in here, just drinking to forget it.
The dwarf surveys the crowd, his expression sober, despite the half-empty flagon by his hand. He shakes his head and looks too, remembering himself.
But I hear you helped drive the ogres out. Didn't know you furry folk had it in you.
He scratches his beard, frowning. And how would you know? I didn't see you fighting out there.
Didn't mean no offense. Don't know why your kind always get so touchy about things. You're welcome to warm yourself here. Got hot food and cozy beds. Though your cousin seems to have holed up in one of my rooms.
He nods at the wall in the direction of the rooms. Another Orlan? I don't have a cousin here.
That's a relief. Can't see you having anything in common with a good-for-nothing layabout like that anyways.
He nods his approval at you.
Showed up a few days ago, sticks his nose out of the back room just long enough to empty his chamber pot.
He squints toward the hall, as if daring the Orlan to show himself.
Up to no good, I tell you. I'd like nothing more than to see him gone, but I don't want to ruckus over it.
What makes you so sure he's trouble?
We get our share of lowlifes coming through here. Smugglers, fugitives, Kith looking to avoid the sharp eye of the law. Ways keeping to himself. Well, honest Kith sure don't have cause for it.
I could talk to him.
I'd appreciate it. And I suppose I don't need to remind you that I don't want you to hurt him. I'm sure you can find a more discreet way of handling the problem.
He gives you a meaningful look. Hefric, the innkeeper at the Grieve's Rest, thinks there's something suspicious about one of his guests. According to him, the Orlan staying in one of the rooms has been behaving strangely, and Hefric would like someone to get the bottom of the thing. Hefric is convinced that his Orlan guest is up to no good. The Orlan showed up a few days ago and has been hiding out in one of the rooms. Hefric would like me to get rid of him, but he doesn't want me to hurt him. So let's talk to him right away.
Not to be rude, but I'm rather busy. Can't you get another room?
The Orlan turns and glances past you with a quick, nervous motion. His ears, shredded and scalloped at the edges, are pressed against his skull. Heferic sent me to check on you. He dislikes Orlan, so of course he thinks you're up to something.
He... what? Oh no. No.
He runs his claws through his hair and tugs at his long, ragged ears. Can't imagine why he'd think a thing like that.
Is she there? Did you see her?
He leans around you, peering at the doorway. Who are you talking about?
Devala. That woman. The slaver, she...
He swallows.
I was a slave in Raid Ceres. I ran away. Made it here. The mountains are usually the best place to lose slavers, but Devala's one of the best.
His hands tremble as he picks at his worn tunic. Zahua's face darkens. As long as slaves hound these steppes, there can be no freedom for the spirit. I'm so sorry. Can I help?
I just want to get out of here. I've scraped together enough money to reach New Haelmar.
New Haelmar? That's hardly an improve. He stops himself, eyes wide. I mean, it's lovely. You'll love it.
But the locals talk about a Raid Saren party, camped west of town.
He worries at the ragged shirt sleeve.
It's got to be Devala. She's been after me since the foothills. I'll pay you if you can get rid of her. I don't care how.
We'll see. Aelif is hiding from Defala, a slave hunter who followed him from the Ceras. He can't leave town until she's been dealt with. Rumor has it that a party of Red Serans has made camp somewhere west of town.
Back to warm your hands, eh? What can I do for you?
Let me see what refreshments you got. Eloth leans in and whispers, "Are you sure, Memulian? I think I saw a fish head floating in the stew pot."
Nothing like a pint to take the chill off.
Interesting. And
Gores.
let's try this party. And looks like Eder will need a sleep soon. So let's get around the inn. And then we can sleep.
Laying low.
I heard the dwarves of Durgan's battery died feasting, poisoned one another.
Ooh. Still can't feel my fingers. Thought I'd found shelter when I stumbled across this little village. Guessing you did too, huh?
Fear raises a frosty mug to you. Even though the warmth of the hearth reaches you here, her hands are wrapped in weirwool and her ears muffled by a hat. Her face has the taut, wind-beaten look of someone who's recently come from the road.
As much blood as there was in the streets, I'm lucky the ale's still flowing.
She takes a drink, and as she tilts her head back, you see brows purpling her jaw and the crimson bloom of scraped knuckles. What exactly happened to you?
Thought all the whispers about Durgan's battery were just village superstition. And maybe they are. But I might have been on my guard if I'd listened. I was part of an expedition, hunting for relics from Durgan's battery. I picked up a good haul, too.
She takes a slow swallow of her beer.
So it figures that's when the winds pick up and the sky starts dumping snow. We lost sight of the road. Meanwhile, something else found us. Took Liam out before we even realized we were surrounded. And then we see him coming out of the snow. These little four-armed wilder. Lagufoth, they're called.
She shakes her head, staring at the embers in the fire pit.
Quick little bastards. Francesca and I held them off as long as we could, but when they filled her full of darts, I turned tail and ran. Found my way here and thanked my luck for escaping the Lagufoth. Then come to find out that this town's got an ogre problem.
She laughs bitterly. I'm sorry to hear about your friends.
That's a kind sentiment. I'll mourn them when I get home. But I've got to retrieve our haul if I'm to have any hope of that. I need to get those artifacts. Not that I'm in any shape to go after them myself. But I can't afford to return to Defiance Bay without something to show for my expedition.
Apprehension creeps into her expression. She stares into her mug, swirling its contents.
But you've got your own expedition to the battery, don't you? While you're out there, maybe you could look for my goods. Whatever's left of them.
She looks up from her mug, hopeful.
I'll give you a cut for anything you bring back, of course. I ain't asking for charity. I just can't afford to go home empty-handed.
She brushes her nail along the side of her mug as that anxious look returns. Tell me what you're looking for.
Like I said, we were treasure hunting near Durgan's battery when we were ambushed. What else do you want to know?
Renegil told me that another expedition came through before I arrived. Was that you?
Who? No, that would have been somebody else. We didn't meet with Renengild, or anyone else in town for that matter. We were operating on our own.
She looks into the fire pit, taking another drink. Why are these relics so important to you?
We took out several loans to pay for our trip out here. I'm gonna have trouble if I don't pay them back.
She scratches the back of her neck. Examine her teeth. As Fira talks, you notice that her teeth and gums are stained with dark spots. Remind me where I can find your caravan?
What's left of it should be near Durgan's battery. If you stumble across the Logothoth, you'll know you're close.
What do you know about Durgan's battery?
Just that it's been locked up tight for 200 years on account of those dwarves having a row. Which means that any trinkets from inside fetch a nice price. Sorry, I'm more of a businesswoman than a historian.
Goodbye. Fira, a traveling scout and expeditioner, was attacked by Logothoth near Durgan's battery. She lost her companions and their artifacts. She'd like the former avenged and the latter retrieved. Fira told me that her party was ambushed near Durgan's battery, where they were collecting artifacts. I had to head that way to start looking for the remains of her expedition. This large piece of stone is adorned with an engraving of a hammer and chisel, though the writing beneath is too worn away to read. Careful, if you're new, the drinks here aren't watered down. Hey there, good timing. You can watch Mitron's Birthwen. Used to play a game like this in Masuk. Good fun. A lot of frowns. Looks like a good way to lose a finger. Once Andret, you once. What are you playing? Orlan's hat. Andret grins sheepishly. That's what they call it, anyhow. Smooth. You pick a target, see, nose or ears. Nose is worth more, but you've got 2 ears to work with. You get less points the further out from me the target you get. So for the mouth and eyes, no points if you miss. Fancy game? 3 throws each, and whoever gets the most points by the end of it wins the wager. I'll put down 50 pence, if you will. Sure, let's play. Andret pulls a throwing knife from his belt, turning it over in his hands. Wages 50 pence. You in? Let's play. Good man, I go first, just to show you how it's done. Andret aims carefully and throws his blade. The knife hits the eye, scoring 5. Andret walks up to retrieve the knife. Your turn. Aim for the ears. The knife hits the ear, scoring 5. Andret aims carefully and throws his blade. The knife hits the fur, scoring 2. Andret walks up to retrieve the knife. Your turn. Aim for the ears again. The knife hits the nose, scoring 10. Andret aims carefully and throws his blade. The knife hits the nose, scoring 10. Andret walks up to retrieve the knife. Your turn. And again aim for the ears. The knife hits the mouth, scoring 5. That's 22 for you and 17 for me. Not bad, stranger. Looks like you win this one. is your prize? Guess I ought to get in some practice. Ah, it's our ogre-slang friend. Have they crowned you King of Stalwart yet? My friend doesn't mean to be an ass, sir. It's just come natural. What? I do want a crown. I'll be going. Suit yourself.
Oh, it's you. I'm so glad you came by. I hoped I'd have the chance to thank you properly. They told me what happened. God's bless you, sir. I owe you my life. I know it was foolish of me to run in there, but this ring is all that I have of my family.
How are you holding up?
Oh, I'm managing. Fenway's letting me stay with her until I'm back on my feet. Everyone's been lovely, really. It was hard seeing what's left of the house. But Rayvald says he's going to see a hut raised for me soon as they get the logs.
What's so special about this ring, anyway?
Sentiment, mostly. When he first settled here, my grandfather had a ring fashioned from the first batch of ore he excavated. It was supposed to commemorate his fresh start. He passed it on to his daughter, and my mother gave it to me in turn.
Maybe you can help me. I'm looking for some Fenland liqueur.
Funny. Rayvald was just in here asking after the same thing. Guess that stuff really is popular. Averick has some, but he says the Fenland stuff's not for sale. And he's rigged up the cellar like a battlefield trying to keep people out. Sorry. If anyone deserves a drink, it's you, sir. But I don't think I could convince him.
Come on, surely he wouldn't miss one bottle.
Oh, you don't know Haverick. He's liable to count them every night.
Katie bites her lip and shifts from foot to foot.
Listen, Haverick showed me how one of the traps worked, so I wouldn't get too close if I had to pop down for supplies. I'm pretty sure I can disable it. Just give me a little time, and please don't get caught. I don't know how I'd explain all this.
And what does the flame reveal?
So we probably get the bottle. But I think I will take a nap before moving downstairs. Maybe let's talk to Durance first as well, if he has something new to tell. Your face is full of need, Durance snorts. It looks to burst if you didn't speak. I had questions I wanted to ask you.
If doubts and curiosity plague you, you're skidding your knuckles on the wrong door.
I wanted to know more about you. He grunts. Durance is an odd name. No more than a watcher, and Durance is not a name, it is a title. What does your title mean?
Durance? We've shared the fire and a difficult road enough. Enough to know you're willing to suffer one and walk the other. Every god who has followers has a chapter solely for them, whether they know it or not. I know it. This chapter is not a thing of intent, but a flame that catches you. Everyone hears dogma and hymns and rituals in a different way. And whether they admit it or not, the fires that catch your senses all weave into a larger bonfire, which becomes your religion, your way of life, your road. Worshippers take what they want from the god, and then translate it. So it was with Durance. Was a man once, before he became the religion.
I'm not familiar with the teachings of Durance.
There is no scripture, no poetry or wordplay open to interpretation. Its disciples are often not welcome, so they walk the road. A physical devotion. Many a metaphor has killed a man, when it would have been best to show him the truth of it, as ugly as it may seem. Before Durance, I put my faith in a great many such words, and encouraged others to do the same. All were weaker for it, unworthy of the flame.
Duran's face darkens. The devotions are from days when Magran would not simply open her legs for any eager young initiate. Instead, she would turn away these faithful and ask them to wander the land to prove themselves devout. Based on the trials and judgments, then access to the gods is granted, but it was up to each initiate to find the fire within them, and that fire, Duran's throne, that fire rarely burned when first they came to Magran's door and sought acceptance. Begging is not what transforms one, but to say such now, the words are not welcomed as they should. Why is that?
The reasons are so many you would age and die listening to them all. But the teachings of Durance also included casting established clergy out who might need reminders of such devotion as well.
And no priest seeks to be removed from his comforts, whether food, bed, or a horse's warm mouth on his cock. Those are trials that few can bear to let go once the comforts have taken them. He frowns, his eye darkening. They see the trials of Durance as unnecessary for the continuation of the faith. Inconvenient sometimes. They hold fast that there are other ways to spread Magran's fire without leaving marks as Durance taught. What do you mean, leaving marks?
As the disciples walked the road, the trials of Durance they suffered and dispensed were also ones of justice. All potential converts, even the faithful, were tested for weakness, and if their weakness broke them, so be it. If they survived, then they were transformed, made stronger as Magran seeks of all. Before I followed the way of Durance, I did not test myself. I did not test others. Weakness and injustice thrived around me because I permitted it to be so.
Sagan is busy sharpening another bone arrowhead, and it isn't even clear she's listening until she looks up and shakes her head. One thing I'll never understand about you northern folk. You live amidst plenty and lands that aren't like to kill you overnight, and yet you have this funny notion that carving the shit out of each other somehow makes you worthy of it. Sagani blows bone dust from her arrowhead. I'll never understand it, but then we can't afford to make target practice of one another in Masuk. Why would the clergy object to your dispensing justice?
Justice was not seen as our duty. Justice was a thing of Woodica.
Durance grunts, and the debates on that ran fierce and hot. If any god should hold the reins to the keeping of any other, as I said, an unpopular notion, Durance chuckles without humor, might spread like a fire. Can't have that. Yet Durance reminded us that Voidica had once been burned by Magran, and rightly so. If a goddess of justice must be burnt to remind her of her place, well, then Magran's clergy can remind others in a similar fashion. So this religious traveling chapter was put down? There were not many of us, Durance snarls. I'm the last, and while there's no words of poetry to mar Durance's teachings, there's little to keep it alive in the fire if the fire dies. But that in itself is a test. The Saints' War gave Durance a new boost of popularity. For a time, a saint too much a saint, ruthlessness too much ruthlessness. Durance shrugs. The fears of us, well, we took the battle to Eotas and Red Seras. It took strength to turn back their heresies, and I doubt many of Magran's highest could have done the same. Then the teachings dwindled, died, as most flames do. Duran stares at his staff, but they still leave marks. So you would punish others?
Transform them. If they broke, so be it. The greater the ruination of their flesh and soul, the greater their hope of salvation. It was the struggle that would strengthen them. One can have enough of words until you hunger for giving the red gift to some prattling fool, whether they serve Margarin or not. God and faith can drive a man to do much others would find difficult. Durance himself admitted as much. He did not relish the task, but he did not shy away from it.
And you follow this teaching?
All life does, whether by Margarin or not. The Saints' War made it necessary, and as distasteful as it may have seemed, well, now, every mark of Aethys, every weak soul that exposed our throat to the enemy, they would answer for every soldier and Margarin disciple that had fallen. I punished others, yes, men, women, children, and I did not spare the staff or any other instrument I felt would learn them and strengthen them. A purge not just of Aethys, but of frailty, a burning of dry fields, a sacrifice at the whore's altar. But who needs her words when one has her flame to show the way?
I had other questions about you. He grunts. Are those the same ropes you wore at Helgot? Durance frowns. Why do I? The tension in his face slips into irritation. Your memory is both a curse and a curse. I wore this on our pilgrimage to Helgot, as well as after. He glances at them. We were to travel quietly, so few would know our religion or intent, like executioners with ropes, instead of hoods. How did they get burned then? The ropes are the ones I wore at the Citadel when the Godhammer was triggered. Imagine a campfire, then a field of them. His hand cradles his staff, then form them into a sphere and let it grow until it fills the air. He swallows his throat dry. Its violence ran through my stave and my spirit like 100 lightnings, and all around me was flame. It tore at my skin, even burst vessels in my flesh. He holds up his sleeves, yet the rope survived. He grins the scars on his face, bunching up beneath the coarse, bared hairs. And you've worn them since? Eloth purses his lips. I do hope he's washed them. If Magran deemed I should wear ash while dispensing her justice, then so be it. We exist at her pleasure, not for her pleasure. Durance shrugs. Either way, she answers my call, quietly or loudly, but her colors seem weak in comparison to the act one does in her name. And quiet is how I prefer. I find other of my faith do not tend to take me for a second glance in if the fire of my spirit does not graze my staff. Oh, I had other questions about you. That staff of yours, can you tell me about it? Durance glances at his staff, then at you, and gives you a crooked smile. Can't take your eyes from it. He chuckles. Durance himself favored such knotted twists of heat. It was said, no shame in it. Why are those symbols carved on your staff?
Carved? This staff is a history. Acts leave their mark. Some symbols fall into the ash, others blaze brighter.
What causes one to fade and another to rise?
Memory, meaning. It's same as the memories in your head, perhaps more trustworthy. Random acts, things done with instinct, they may make lines burning briefly through the wood. Acts devised, planned, that stay with you. Symbols form and tell the story. It's like all memories, except the staff burns it true. When a thought's close, you see it clearer, brighter. Ones you forget, they get buried. But like rings in wood, the etchings remain. Keeps me grounded. Also, it's a solid walking stick.
How is it only watchers can see the symbols? They are energies of the spirit, a channel for one's faith, he frowns. It's hard to say. There was a time when they glowed brighter, but now they are an aid in my work. Because the stuff's markings stand out to a watcher, well, they sometimes identify themselves, he frowns, and sometimes they're blinded to the stuff as well. A gift of Magran, perhaps, to cloak itself from sight when one isn't looking for it. That large mark there, the 12 circles, what is it?
That symbol, the God Hammer. The 12 circles are a sign of the dozen on the bridge, and the dozen of us that let the hammer fall on them, bridge, God, and all. If there's a symbol that is unlikely to ever fade, it's that one. I thought it might be the last the staff would ever hold. Was holding it that day on the bridge when Aethys fell. It was the spark put to the God Hammer. Might be the last light that touched Aethys before the pyre ate him.
I don't see Magran's symbol on your stuff. Durance frowns. It is there, but marked different. I follow Durance, and in his teachings there is but a single flame, a simple aspect. His frown deepens and he taps the edge of the staff. Durance would meditate by focusing on a single flame and attach meaning to it. It was something to center the spirit of for what was to come. For what was to come? The flame is intended to symbolize bringing punishment to another, and it is inscribed above the symbol of the one being punished, marking them as always touched by Magran. I want to ask about something different.
I suspect the answers will seed more questions.
I wanted to know more about you. You don't dress like a priest, and your robes look as if they were touched by fire. It's as if you swallowed a gadfly nest. Keep silent and keep them to yourself, lest you tire yourself before the next campfire. Okay, let's get a nap
Back to warm your hands, eh? What can I do for you?
for today. I'd like a room.
Top quality bear pelts on every bed. You won't be disappointed.
Let's get this one, the golden whale. Rest. Another 200 pieces lost for the guys at my stronghold. So, let's talk to Katie. if she went already downstairs.
I did it, sir. That is, you might have an easier time with that business you were talking about before.
Kitty smiles brightly. Very well. Okay, let's check downstairs if we can get the bottle of booze. For Reifeld, or what was his name?
I shall be discreet.
Gamblers.
£10 says he trips them.
You're awful.
So many traps. And it's...
Hey. It's done. Of course. Hmm?
They are too hard.
It's done. It's done. It's done.
Meat, potion of bulwark against the elements, and Fenland liquor. Good. We got what we wanted. I found the bottle of Fenland liquor on a shelf at the center of a nest of traps. Reifeld will be glad to see it. An assortment of dusty vintages lines these shelves. Many date to before the War of Defiance.
Yes?
Everything else will be stealing. So let's talk to Teenlisk. Or what's his name? The hero of the hour, he laughs. Efric sent you down to check on us. We aren't causing trouble, on my word. Who are you? Tenlithik. He raises his mugs. Humble fisherman. Though with the ogres coming down all the time, well, I'd sooner fish for truth down a bottle for the time being. Odd place for a game. Is it? Efric doesn't like me making a ruckus upstairs, so I get the cellar to myself, provided I don't go digging in his stores. That's a fair bargain, right lads? We have our fun. What are you playing? Dozens. Care to test your luck? Each of us puts down 50 pence. 3 wins and you take the 100. Could explain the rules if you liked. What are the rules? It's simple enough. Winner takes all. We roll 3 dice each. Get 3 fours and that's the dozen. Beats all the other rolls. You roll anything else that sums to 12. That's the towers. Second bet. You roll any other triples. That's a godhammer. You get a pair. That's witnesses. 1, 2 and 3 is the saint. That's the lowest. Any other roll is stalkers. Doesn't amount to anything, so you roll the dice again. You get it? Let's try. I play. Teenlisk reaches towards to gather up his dice. Right, here we go. Coins on the table. Pay the 50p. I'll let you go first, since you're new. Tenlisk chuckles. Roll the dice. You cast the dice 1, 2, 6 talkers. Roll the dice. You cast the dice witnesses, value 6. Your turn. Then let's roll the dice 1, 1, 5 witnesses, value 5. Damn, your witnesses beats my witnesses. The round's yours. Tenlisk reaches forward to gather up his dice. Ready? Roll the dice. You cast the dice 1, 3, 6 talkers. You cast the dice 2, 2, 5 witnesses, value 5. Your turn. Tenlisk rolls his dice 1, 2, 4 talkers. Tenlisk grumbles and picks up his dice again. 1, 1, 2 witnesses, value 2. Damn, your witnesses beat my witnesses. The round's yours. Tenlisk reached forward to gather up his dice. This is it. Now, you go first. Witnesses volume 1. 1, 6, 6. Your turn. Witnesses volume 4. 1, 1, 4. Ha! My witnesses beat your witnesses. Looks like I win. Tenlisk reached forward to gather up his dice. This is it. Now, you go first. Roll the dice. 4, 5, 6 talkers. 1, 2, 4 talkers. 2, 5, 5. Towers, value 5. Oh, towers value 6. 2, 4, and 6. Ha, my towers beats your towers. Looks like I win. Tenlisk reached forward to gather up his dice. Even so far, go on then. Roll the dice. Witnesses, value 4. Witnesses, value 4. Looks like we evenly matched. Let's go with it again. Tenlisk reached forward to gather up his dice. Even so far, go on then. 3, 5, 6 talkers. 5, 6, 6. Witnesses, value 5. Tenlisk rolls his die. 2, 3, 6 talkers. His dice again. 3, 3, 4. Witnesses, value 4. Damn, your witnesses beat my witnesses. The round's yours. Tenlisk reached forward to gather up his dice. Ah, well done. The game's yours. Prize 2. Here you are. Don't get too smug now. I'll best you next time. So, I was lucky to win.
Oh?
But let's go outside and talk to the guy who wanted the bottle. Rayfall, let's see what he says for the bottle.
Please tell me you found it. I've got a craving like you wouldn't believe.
Under lock and key is an understatement.
Wait, really? You did it! Oh, thank you! This is going to be great! Oh, and here's the money I promised. To the Lord of Cadnua.
Rayfall raises the bottle and takes a long drink.
Oh, gods, that's a bit strange. Here. Have...
A bout of coughing overtakes his words. Shit, is it poisoned?
What? No, it just tastes awful. Ugh, I think I'm gonna be sick. Did you see that? See? I think my tongue is going numb. Wait. I can't feel my face. What's happening?
Maybe I won't be sharing that drink after all. Rayfel paws at his cheeks and then his nose with increasing desperation. A flailing finger catches him in the eye and he yelps and covers his face clumsily with both hands.
I can't. I think I bit my... But I can't feel a thing. This has to be Havrick's doing. He must have put something in the bottle. Please, you have to help me.
Shame, embarrassment, desperation, physical impairment. I must inquire about this recipe. If this is a trick, Havrick's bound to have an antidote.
Sweet gods, I hope so. Please, I'll give you the money I saved up. I'll give you more. Please, just help me.
That was funny. The bottle of liquor turned out to be a trap of some kind. Rayfel's lost all feelings in his face, which is causing him no small amount of panic. The Grave's Rest innkeeper may know more about just what went into the concoction and whether there's a way to counter the effects. So let's see.
Back to warm your hands, eh? What can I do for you?
Rayfel ran afoul of a certain bottle of liquor.
So that little bastard finally got up the nerve to snatch it, did he? Well, serves him right. Maybe he'll think twice about stealing a man's vintage now that he's dribbling all over himself.
I'm sure he's learned his lesson.
Yeah, I bet he's ballin'. Look, I dabble in chemicals, but it's never something I can't fix. He's only a few ingredients from a cure. You want to help him out, all you need is a river reed in the heart of an ice troll. You ought to find both by water. That creek out west, for instance.
Wait, the heart of what?
You heard me. Ice troll. Really, Rayfall's getting off easy. Those traps cost me a fortune.
Havrick told me that he can whip up an antidote for Rayfel's miserable condition if I bring him some river reeds and ice troll heart. He suggested that both plant and beast can be found in the Russetwood out west. Yeah, so probably that will be the next place where we go, to the west. So let's see what we can have in the west. This is the east. Oh, we'll see. We have 2 or 3 quests to the Russetwood, so this will be our next place to visit.
Huh, that's what I get for asking directions in the middle of nowhere.
I haven't seen Maneha yet.
Say, I don't suppose you've seen any mysterious old buildings in the mountains lately, have you?
The Omawa wears an assortment of bangles, bands, cuffs, and chains as thick as armor. She watches you with a raised eyebrow and eyes gleaming with mirth. You mean Durgan's Battery?
No, but I've heard that name a lot around here. I'm looking for the Abbey of the Fallen Moon. It's an obscure temple dedicated to Andra.
Why are you looking for the Abbey?
I'm a gift bearer. My job is to gather tokens of things people want forgotten and surrender them to the Lady of Lament. Best place to do that is the Abbey of the Fallen Moon.
Gift bearers usually dispose of tokens in sea. Why are you going to the Abbey?
Well, you throw some things into the sea and maybe they wash up on shore one day. But you want something really good and forgotten, you take it to the Abbey.
She nods. Adair stares at Durance with half-crazed look in his eyes, scratching his beard in contemplation. His smile broadens as he thinks. What kinds of tokens do you take?
Anything that represents a moment or a memory someone wishes to leave behind. Well, love notes, awkward family heirlooms, bad poetry, the kinds of things you want to forget.
So what are you taking to the Abbey now?
The Abbey's all about forgetting. Wouldn't be much forgetting if I told you about it, would there?
Her smile falters briefly. I see.
I might be here a while. Half the villagers have never heard of the Abbey, and the ones that have, no one knows where it is. So I'm trying to think of this as an extended holiday, in a remote mining village that smells like fish.
I've got business in the region. We could travel together.
You won't regret it. I've got a lovely singing voice.
We'll see about that. And... Sorry, Sagani.
Farewell.
We exchange you for Maneha for a while. Maneha, a gift bearer of Ondra, seeks a hidden abbey where Ondritz leaves things to be forgotten. I've met a gift bearer named Maneha. She is looking for the Abbey of the Fallen Moon, a sacred Ondra temple where Maneha has been ordered to dispose of several tokens. She has joined me in the hopes that we'll visit this place during our travels. And Maneha is level 8 barbarian. Let's see what she has. This one is better. And we'll see if you get any other stuff. And let's see. Weapon focus knight. Battle axe, sword, morning star, crossbow. Oh. So no. Maybe later. But anyway, let's go to the Russetwood now. 'Wood. 'Now. 'Wood. 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 'Wood 8 hours. We have merchant stills constructions.
I knew that Malkachoa was bad.
Let's see what we can build another. Let's build the forum.
I shall be discreet.
And let's see what we can find in the map. Menkthra. Interesting name. And Bitter Spirit.
That's it!
Certainly.
Ice Troll, so we will maybe have a heart soon.
That's it!
Ice Troll Heart. I have both of ingredients Heferic asked me for. If I take them back to the inn, he should be able to make that antidote for a fault. I slew an ice troll and retrieved his heart.
Keeping an eye out. Certainly.
This simple shrine is covered in a thick layer of snow. Fallen leaves and feathers, a pair of curving bones flanks the altar. Examine the shrine more closely. The shrine does not appear to be frequented very often, though traces of old candle wax line the edges of the stone. Under a dusting of frost, you note rectangular sections of the altar surface that seems to be cleaner than the rest, as if something once rested here. Touch the altar. You feel a tingle run up your arm as you set your fingers to the altar. In the instant after, the wind seems to die down, the sounds of the wilderness growing muted to your hearing. Then you hear a sudden low growl, quickly joined by more. A vision strikes you like a sudden memory, though it is unbound by time or place. Within a sea of darkness, you see a great beast, formless save for its gleaming fangs. It growls and snaps with increasing desperation and savagery, and for a moment you feel its rage as your own, a possessive fury that tears at you. Something has been taken, your territory threatened, and the price for it will be blood. The vision fades just as swiftly as it came. The altar stands silent and still, and the air fills again with the occasional trill of birdsong. Leave. There is a shrine of Galavine within the Russetwood. It appears that an item which once adorned the shrine has been removed, an act which has incurred great wrath. Or wrath. So we will need to find something to put it once again there.
Margaren's fire casts light in dark places. Don't even...
Let's use this. And not a lot.
Don't even... I don't... No use!
Let's cast him in a bubble. Durance. Bubble him.
That's it! He's wounded.
One more kick. And try to hit him with green. Ouch!
Not even slowing us down!
That's not very helpful.
Looks like the combat is a little bit tougher for my group than before. Well,
Not a
let's
sound.
move forward.
To whispers and shadows.
I played some MMOs when I was a little bit younger, but at the moment I somehow can't find many of them to be fun enough. Maybe because I don't have much time to play, so I rather play alone some good RPGs than having hassle playing around some toxic boys and girls online. This wolf lies in the snow, panting with exhaustion and pain. An arrow has pierced its foreleg, jutting gruesome from the animal's flank. The wolf grows softly as you approach, tail between its legs. Examine the wound. The wolf appears to have crossed a hunter's path, a silver arrow just from the wolf's right foreleg, embedded a short distance into the limb. Even so, you suspect that trying to remove the arrow without knowledge and care could provoke further injury. Oh, let's try to remove the arrow. The wolf goes still at first, but the moment you lay hands on its injured leg, it begins to thrash in panic. Yelping in pain, it snaps at your hands and then lunges towards you. Oh, no. I didn't want to do that. This tarnished silver arrow has survived its stay in Wolf's flank larger and scat, though the carefully etched fletching has been gnawed on. Holding the arrow makes the hair rise on the back of your hand.
Step lightly.
Ice Blights. Oh, oh, oh. Not good, not good. Let's use Fireball on them. No. And Bubble. Main character. And another Fireball. And can knock him down. Not good, not good.
What?
Where are you? Kick him. Heal yourself and you heal yourself as well. First one down. Let's kick him and let's try to heal them as well again. And heal yourself. And what about you? Let's stun.
Was enjoying himself.
Immune to magic. So let's fire them up. And you go a little bit away.
You can do better, Alof!
Spot on!
And Talot is down. And the Barbarian is down.
Don't even...
What do you have? And let's try to use the fire stuff.
What?
Oh?
I nearly got kicked my ass.
Oh, and if I find something good, you can have half.
Certainly.
Uh-huh.
Yes?
Just in case, let's do the quick save. What is this? A tuft of grey-white fur has snagged on this bramble. The teeth marks upon the deer bones suggest a large predator. I found a half-eaten deer carcass out in the wilderness just south of the frozen lake. It looked like the work of a large predator, and I found nearby prints leading away to the north. There is a shrine of Galavant. Oh. Okay. And Feral Druid, I think all long-range guys should be kicking his ass. Okay, Druid is down. Oh, for fuck's sake. Again. At my character. Let's try this out. And try to save his ass.
can see that.
Stag height.
Yes?
I will walk unseen.
Okay, they really kick my ass. And there were Red Saran mercenaries, the slavers. I tried to check a little bit around before moving to them, or no, let's go. Fight them right away and hope they will not kill my main character. Let's move around this way. And we'll see.
Nice and quiet.
Let's quick save just in case.
Don't see many on these roads, and the few we do are hunters, woodcutters, or smugglers.
She cocks an eyebrow at you and gives you a half smile. She holds herself with a confident grace, a conspicuous holster slung over one hip. Beyond her is a wagon loaded with supplies. Manacles dangle from one end. The fella, is it? You're the slaver who's after Aleph. Oh, no. Which are you, hunter, woodcutter, or smuggler? The high, clear peals of her laughter ring across the snowy plain.
I suppose you could say I'm a hunter.
Her fingers drum the tooled leather of her holster.
I'm looking for a fugitive from Raid Saris, an indentured servant, and a wanted criminal.
The smile disappears from her face like a candle flame snuffed out by the wind. She watches you through humorless eyes. What exactly is he wanted for?
Besides breaking his indenture, he slew his master's 13-year-old son, killed the boy before he fled.
He belongs in prison, not in a slaver's pen.
His master sees it differently.
She unholsters her pistol.
Shame we couldn't do business.
Okay. You go here. You go here. Here and... You try to stun them. Knock him down, knock him down.
Lava will be on seek.
Let's go and try this. And necrotic glance to the fella. Good, she's down. A little bit of healing. What do we have here? Good. Heal all of them.
How?
Heal yourself and you heal them. Two more slavers.
That's not very helpful. That's it.
The slave hunter is dead. Aleph will be relieved to hear of it.
Nice and quiet.
I'm happy about it as well. Fine mail armor and fine pistol. Yeah, the
I'll see what I
fights
can find.
in White Marsh are pretty intense, but we were victorious. As you walk towards the frozen pond, a figure appears through the mist. Kneeling down next to a hole on the ice, the figure picks up a large chest and throws it into the water without hesitation. The figure looks around. You glimpse a face you've seen before. Kekshetl, one of Lavda's acolytes, pulls a hood over his head and throws a leather bag over his shoulder. Without looking back, he walks away in the direction of Stalwart Village. Upon arriving at the pond in the Russetwood, I spot Kekshetl, an acolyte of Ondra's temple, hurriedly dropping a large object into its waters. If this is the spot where offerings are cast away, Okrun's heralms should lie at the bottom.
I will walk unseen.
Don't fear for me, Watcher. I may be large, but walking the coals has made me light on my feet.
Let's see what we can fish out from the pond. Cloudy water is visible through a large hole cut through the thick ice. It is larger than a fishing hole, wider than a broadside amawa. Stir it, the surface of the water laps against the layered ice. You reach out to test the water. It nips at your fingers with every ripple, quickly numbing your hand after a few seconds. Inspect the area. You carefully inspect your surroundings. Animal tracks are plentiful, but what appear to be the footprints of kids are also present near the hole. Looking closer into the hole, you notice a jagged ring of frost adhering to its walls. It has been rebroken, perhaps more than once. Look through the water to the bottom of the pond. The water swirl, silty and nearly opaque you. You attempt to see through the murk, but you can make out nothing in particular. Dive in and search the bottom of the pond. Who will dive in? Cast Bulwark against the elements before diving in. Aloth. Aloth begins to draw energy out of the ether and into a grimoire. There is a sudden flash of light from the open page and you are bathed in a protective aura. You dip your hand into the water. You can feel its ripples climbing up your skin, but you notice no change in the temperature, as if the water itself had become lukewarm. The cold, it seems, is no longer a threat. Who will dive in? I think I use Zahua for that. I hope that will not be a mistake. Okay, let's do it. Zahua dives into the water and disappears into the turbulent darkness. Its embrace, however, feels lukewarm and almost welcoming. Protected by the spell, Zahua manages to swim with ease to the bottom of the pond. Directly below the hole, at the very bottom, Zahua's hands find heavy objects made of wood and metal. They are chests, small but heavy. Zahua starts to bring them up to the surface, one by one, struggling to carry their weight through the water. After a heroic effort, Zahua comes out of the frozen pond. You let a few minutes pass to recover from the ordeal, and then you're ready to inspect your findings. The chests are marked with symbols of Ondra. You grab one of them and pry its lid open to reveal its contents. Inside, all you see are rocks. You shake the surprise off and grab another chest. The same results greets you after opening it. More rocks and nothing of value. Something is assuredly amiss. As proof of your findings, you take one of the empty chests with you. I recovered several empty chests that bear Ondra's symbol. The medallion I seek wasn't inside any of them. They were filled only with rocks. It looks like Lavda, the priestess of Ondra, has much to answer for. I'm curious about that.
Oh, and if I find something good, you can have half.
Let's see, what is this? This cracked wooden staff is neatly buried beneath the frost and snow. To your senses, the gathered essence shines like a beacon. Examine the area. This camp is long abandoned, and what remains is buried beneath a layer of ice and snow. The staff seems to be the sole item of note. Touch the broken staff. As you reach out with your watcher senses and feel this drifting soul surge forward as if eager to be heard, a feeling of fear and urgency ripples through you. Here, across the distance spent by time and identity, you know only that you are out of time.
Did you think to escape me by climbing a mountain? I would have tracked you across the sea, thief.
Please, Master, have mercy. I kept the grimoire hidden safely away, and I can take you to it.
The book is nothing. If you had studied a little longer, you might have learned that. But no apprentice of mine will steal from me and live.
Wait, no! I shall be discreet.
Okay. We'll see if we find that guy again. At some later point in the game. And another ice troll. And what is this? Logofeth. Oh shit. Where are you? Knock him down. Let's stun him.
Whew, good thing I sold most of my jewelry.
Let's prepare for that guy. Come here, there. Oh shit. Let's fire them a little bit and let's stun them as well.
Spot! That's it!
Let's kill this. Let's knock out.
Spot on! How may I?
And so let's stun. And there, knock him down. Another stun. Oh, let's try to knock him down again.
Spot on! That's it!
Okay, we're still alive. Let's move a little bit forward.
Uh-huh.
I think I give you this for a while. We don't want you
Lead the way.
to die
Yes?
yet. Let's knock him down and you stun him.
Hey.
Amethyst. Good.
Hmm?
I'll see what's ahead.
Certainly.
Yeah. Light, flame, and sound. We'll keep to ourselves.
Someone needs a hood and...
Hmm?
Let's... Oh, this one is nicer. Let's try to make a camp here. I use damage reduction as well. You awaken and hear someone stirring, growling. Looking over, you see Maneha twitching and muttering in her sleep. You can't make out what she's saying, but from her bared teeth and the sheen of sweat on her brow, this seems like a very bad dream. Wake up, Maneha. She sits bolt upright, roaring and reaching for her weapon. Calm down, you're safe.
What have I... Oh!
Her gaze darts upon but slowly focuses on you. She grimaces and looks away, wiping her face.
Oh, sorry. I must have been dreaming.
She lies back down and turns away from you. You can't help but notice how carefully she's avoiding your gaze. About what?
No, it's nothing. Sorry, I shouldn't have bothered you.
She pulls her blanket over her shoulders. You aren't bothering me, but something clearly bothering you. I'd like to help. She's quiet for a long time. It seems like she's already gone back to sleep, but then she sighs.
You told me about your awakening.
Aloth stirs. Maneha waits silently until Aloth rolls over and resumes deep, steady breaths.
I guess I've had a similar problem. There's something I remember from a former life. Happened hundreds of years ago, but I remember it like it was yesterday.
How did you remember it?
Happened while I was fighting in Old Valia 20 years ago. My unit was camped out in the palace we'd just taken. The others were roasting the last of the Marchesos pigs in the feast hall. So I went to the wine cellars to fetch a few bottles.
She works her fingers into a knot.
I don't know how long she'd been hiding there, but there was this old woman. Must have been one of the servants.
Her fingers curl into fists.
She had this wild look in her eyes. I approached her and tried to tell her not to be afraid, that she was safe.
Maneha holds out her hand, reliving the memory.
She screamed and grabbed my arm.
She closes her eyes.
It felt like someone had hit me in the back of my head. I blacked out for a few minutes, and when I came to, she was gone.
Go on.
I took a few bottles up with me, feasted with the rest of the troops. But when I went to bunk, I had a dream.
She shivers.
Only it was more vivid than any dream I've ever had. I tasted the sweat on my lips, felt the jungle air on my skin, heard the cries.
She stops and swallows, shaking her head. This dream, this was a memory?
Like when you hear a song you know you've heard before. Anyway, I laid off the drink for several days, but I kept having the dream. After a few weeks, I thought I'd Change of scenery might do me good. Since then, I've been a pirate in the Deadfire, a pilgrim in the White that Wends, an adventurer in the Living Lands, and a gift-bearer in Ashamadal.
She gives you a rueful smile. What next then?
I told you I was looking for the Abbey of the Fallen Moon so I could leave something behind. There's a pool there, the Salt Well. It's where gift-bearers leave the heaviest burdens.
She pauses.
It's said that a person can enter it and leave their own memories behind.
There's a distant, hungry look in her eyes. And you would leave this haunting memory in the Salt Well?
That's the plan.
What if you lose more than you intend?
At this point, I'd gladly give up all my memories if that's what it takes for peace in this life and the next.
I wanted to ask you about something. Whatcha got for me? How did you end up in Stalwart? The other gift bearers told me the Stalwart was close to the Abbey, so they suggested I ask for directions in town. You mean the other gift bearers don't know where the Abbey is? Like I said, it's one of Ondra's most ancient temples, and her followers aren't really known for their record keeping. You're not exactly dressed for the weather. Well, Ixamitl's flat as platter, so when the gift bearers told me Stalwart was way up in the mountains, I thought they were exaggerating. She shrugs. Anyway, I hate packing. I see. Always happy to chat. Tell me why you really became a gift bearer. I heard about the order from some missionaries while I was in the Living Lands. I'd heard Ondra's doctrine before, but the way they talked about the peace of forgetting, washing the old way with the tide. It sounded good, and gift bearers' work. Taking to the road, helping people lose their own burdens, that sounded good, too. Kept hoping I'd find a way for me to lose my burden along the way. Tell me about yourself. Where to begin? I spent almost 10 years as a mercenary in Old Valia, plenty of work there. She tilts her head up and starts counting items off on her fingers. After that, I fought with pirates in the Deadfire, or for them, depending on who was paying. Did a short stint in the White that Wends, then roamed around the Living Lands, and finally joined the gift bearers in Ixamitl. And here I am, she grins. Why so much travel? Guess staying in one place never much suited me. And you gave up soldiering, piracy, and adventuring to join other gift bearers? She loves still plenty of adventures, just different circumstances. Actually, I was asking about where you came from before your adventures. Not much to tell, she waves a hand and looks away quickly. Grew up in Ruatai, left when I was still pretty young, and haven't been back since. Why not? Oh, spent almost 20 years there. Change of scenery is good, right? She gives you a breezy smile, but it looks forced. I see. Better to look forward than back. That's what I always say. I have questions about some of the lands you visited. I'm always up for the war stories. What was Old Valley like? Grand, a skirmish every day and a feast at another Comte or Marcheso's keep every night. Those were good, carefree days. Tell me about the Deadfire Archipelago. Dangerous. You got pirates and sea monsters, and don't even get me started on the merchants. I had a good run there, but I got tired of trying to keep track of who had a knife pointed at my back. What were your experiences in the White that Wends? Short. That place is too cold for anything but leaving. I'm curious about the Living Lands. She laughed. Most folks are. Even after 10 years there, Feels like I just saw the edges of the place. You can start the day in a desert and find yourself in the middle of the jungle by nightfall. Everything there is just a little wilder, goes for the folk as well as the creatures. Part of me misses it still, but you wake up every day knowing that it might be your last. I stayed lucky longer than anyone has a right to expect. That's all I wanted to know. Something else on your mind? That's all for now. Manaha confessed that she is seeking the Abbey to dispose of her own painful memories. The Abbey has a well in which the faithful can cleanse themselves of their pasts. Interesting. And she also spoken about her adventures in her past lives.
Oh, and if I find something good, you can have half. Lead the way.
Yes?
How may I help?
Hey.
Yes?
Okay. Let's move forward to the rest of the map. But let's quick save first. A dark ghoul? What is this? Gently with the fingers. They're the best part. I don't want. A slow smile creeps across her face at your approach. The other man and woman turn to look at you, their mouth filthy with blood and gobbets of flesh. Well, hello there, handsome. What brings you to this part of Russetwood? Why don't you tell me what brings you here? Oh no. I'm just exploring. Oh, how nice. She's staring at you intently now, and doesn't appear to have heard your answer. Oh, I've never tasted Orlan flesh before. I wonder if boiling you first would get rid of all that fur. She licks her lips. Roll your eyes. She and her friends rush at you.
Hey.
Another hard fight. Let's see if you can stun at least some of them or not. And okay, Murder go. Where are you? And another fireball. Oh no, you're too far away. Get down, you.
Don't even...
And kill her down again. And the last one. And stunning fist. No, you have stunning fist. Many of these frozen corpses are missing fingers or have had chunks of flesh cut out from their thighs and torsos. Exceptional Morning Star and exceptional playtime.
Oh?
Let's use this. That's it for now.
Laying low. Certainly.
Margaren's fire casts light in dark places.
Crack ogre, another ogre. Okay, I think for now we have to start the fight.
That's it!
That was unexpected, but
I will walk unseen.
let's move a little bit around. if we can find something here.
What
Oh.
have we here?
Okay, let's me check this. And I'll think this will be it for today. We were in Russetwood for the first time and we got a little bit kicked our ass. There are few areas to finish more, but it's unfortunately too late for me. So I have to call it a day for now. As always, thank you for watching and enjoy the rest of your day. See you some other time. Bye bye.